Notebooks out. Make sure you've got your thinking caps on. Let's see here. All right, we are recording. This is fantastic. Okay, so here's the general gist of the. Well, first I'm going to introduce our special guest, our esteemed guest, Janie Larson. Janie Larson, welcome. This is Janie Larson's freestyling class, and we're going to get into the definition of freestyling. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of introduce everyone to who Janie Larson is, and talk about how long you've been in the business, what you love about real estate, second, and then what are some things that you do for fun.
Okay, so what was the first question?
First question is what you love about the business. Well, actually, how long you've been in the business?
I've been in the business. I just marked my 21st year. I've been with Chris Anderson and Caldwell Banker.
Speak up.
I've been with. It's hard with the mask.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, just speak up. Yeah.
Okay, 21 years. I've been with Caldwell Banker and Chris Anderson.
All right, so 21 years in the business. What would you say is your favorite thing about working in real estate?
I love the people. Well, sometimes I don't love the people, but mostly I'm helping people. I know that what I do counts and that I'm helping people, and every transaction is different, so my job never gets boring.
Good. That's fantastic. And then what are some things you do for fun? I think that's really important for us to remember. What are some things that we do for fun? Why do we work?
Well, I'm married to a farmer, and we're 2 hours apart, so I go out there and I help on the farm. I help with the babies when they're born. Sometimes I drive a combine, and that can be kind of fun when I get in trouble with it. But I breed dogs. I breed German Shepherds. About once a year I do a litter, and they're for people with post-traumatic, and I try to give back to our guys that have post-traumatic. I also watch over the National Guard guys and their families. I've been doing that for 13 years. And so when the men and women are gone, I'm told whenever we have a family that's in trouble. To me, that's fun because I get to use my job as a realtor and the contacts I have to help these families. So helping people is fun for me.
Nice. And for those of you who are wondering, Janie Larson not only does this for fun, she also extends this into part of her business. So one of the things we've been working on recently is her newsletter. We made 500 trifold newsletters that she's gone ahead and sent out to some areas that she's been farming. And then she took the initiative a couple of days ago and just drove to some neighborhoods that she was interested in and introduced herself to some people that were in the yards doing things.
Yeah, I only approached people in the yards and people that had dogs in the yard. And yeah, that's what I do. Do you want to know what I said when I walked up there?
We'll get into that.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And so for those of you who are curious, this freestyling class, we're going to dive into how she utilizes the newsletter and how she utilizes a couple of other techniques and kind of analyze and present some feedback to you as well as some suggestions. Okay. So that way you can move forward with the business as well. And one of the things that I'm going to do is grab this and show it to you guys, because the dogs are a huge topic in this freestyling. So a part of this newsletter has an advertisement for the dogs that she's looking to get rehomed with a little blurb and to contact her. So this is a really easy way for her to be able to connect with the people that she doesn't know and to be able to do it seamlessly because it's something that she loves doing as a part of her life. So that's something that, yeah.
I want to make sure you understand these are not my German Shepherd dogs that I raise. These are two dogs that I stumbled upon that were left behind at a dog groomer. One is a Shepherd and one is a cattle dog. And they were left behind, and I'm trying to get them rehomed because they're a bonded couple. And that's what Caldwell Banker is about, is these helping rehome these dogs. So even though I breed, when I stumble upon something like that, I use my position as a Caldwell Banker agent to try to rehome them, and I put it in there. So there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So moving forward, we're going to cover. I have a bunch of topics here. So what I did for this meeting is I asked Janie. I said, "Can you come up with a bunch of the things that you do for your freestyling technique that has benefited your business in certain ways?" And what we're going to do is analyze kind of one by one what are the pros and the cons of doing what she's done. We're going to tackle some common questions that you may have or that you may not have thought of that really digs into the psyche and how you attack building business with people that you don't know, period. This is the whole point of freestyling. So we're going to cover number one. So as far as freestyling, Janie, can you give us a quick intro of what you define as freestyling?
Freestyling is working off the grid, not working off a script that we're giving as realtors of what we need to do to get business. So for me, it's working off the grid and just adding that sixth thing for a sphere. And I really enjoy meeting people that I don't know. I'm not shy, because if you're shy in this business, you're not going to make it.
Perfect. Yeah, and another definition of that, if you will, is really taking advantage of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis to not only better your life and add more value to your life, but find opportunities to add value to other people's lives just by being you, as well as by being Janie Larson, the realtor, or Denia Hannon, the realtor, or Marie Rains, the realtor, right? It's really taking advantage of what are your pros and cons, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and finding ways to utilize those in a day-to-day basis. So one of the things that Janie wrote down, and I love having people write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because it really puts into perspective where you build your business. And as I started probing Janie on this first topic, it became very apparent that this is something that Janie does just about every single day. And it is a part of her life, and it's so ingrained into her daily activities that she's able to utilize this skill. So the first section is going to the grocery store. And can you tell me a little bit about the grocery store? We've got two different examples that she's written here about the grocery store. One is making acquaintances with people in the card section, where you get a happy birthday card or my condolences, all those cards. And then another section is the produce section. Can you tell me a little bit about those two?
Yeah, the produce section is my favorite section of the grocery store to meet people. And the reason is there's so many vegetables and so many fruits. And there's fruits and vegetables that I don't know what are. So I wait and I kind of look around and see how many people are in the produce section. And then I start feeling I'm ready to talk. So I find a vegetable that probably not many people know what it is, like an ugly fruit. I mean, how many people know what an ugly fruit is, right? So I walk over there and I make sure the produce guy's doing his thing. And then I very loudly say, what's an ugly fruit? Why should I buy an ugly fruit? And I coach him, and I look around and I'm like, so does anybody else know what an ugly fruit is? And so I make myself a little audience. And then I get him to cut it up and let us all try a piece of this ugly fruit. And the last time I did this, I walked out, now this was a couple years ago on this one, I walked out with almost a $500,000 listing. So it starts the conversation, and then so does always wear this.
Yeah, and so what she's pointing at is her little realtor pin. And so it's really being subtle about the fact that you're in the business. That's number one. And number two is, like Janie said, building an audience. It's really about structuring and positioning yourself in a way that allows people into your world and invites them to interact with you. So this is a really important thing. And if I may, I'm going to share, how one of the reasons that I really resonate with this grocery store freestyling technique, if you will. I used to do this back in Florida when I was a real estate agent, and I used to do it actually in the parking lot because I'm a car guy, right? So Janie did it with vegetables, I did it with cars at the grocery store, same exact location, and really it's about utilizing what are the things that you notice, period, on a day-to-day basis. For me, I used to get out of cars and I would specifically find BMWs and park next to BMWs. And I would specifically find people who had just parked and were on their phone getting ready to get out of the car to go to the grocery store, and I would find a reason to point out their car. And my calling card wasn't a pin, it was a hat with my brokerage's name on it. And so you guys can do this in any facet of your business. Take a look at if you're at the grocery store, take a look at what kind of clothing people are wearing. Take a look at what are the bumper stickers on their car. Take a look at what kind of scarves are they wearing? Are they wearing sports shoes? Are you an athlete? Do you like talking to other people who are athletic minded, right? If you find somebody humming in the grocery store, or if you see their kid and their kid is singing a song and you happen to play the guitar, is that something that might resonate with you that will connect you to that person? So it's really utilizing all of the opportunities available to you on a day-to-day basis and kind of doing that subconsciously. It's adopting this subconsciously through doing it every single day.
Find something in common with them.
Yeah, and so the grocery store, Janie, do you go to the grocery store once a week? Do you go twice a week?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 times a week.
4 or 5 times a week. And so this is a really easy way for you to manage your food intake because you're only buying what you need every day. So this is a great way for you to stay healthy. But 4 or 5 times a week now introduces 4 or 5 times the opportunities of meeting people at the grocery store. And it only takes you 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Fresher vegetables too.
And for fresher vegetables as well. Fresher vegetables, fresher meats. You can build a relationship with the butcher. You can build a relationship with the vegetable stocker. Guess what? They need houses too.
I've been working on the cashiers lately.
Yeah, the cashiers make money. They need houses. They're part of a family. They've got to feed. So it's really about utilizing not just the patrons that are at the grocery store, but now taking a look at the entire organization. I'm going to heavily focus on organizations and kind of what Janie does already. And one of the things we talked about is organization. Knowing where you're going and how you can affect that on every single level. So one of the things we talked about, Janie, yesterday was the structure of the grocery store. Or in this case, we're going to move on to the structure of the car wash, because Janie does this freestyling technique at the car wash. So can you talk about the car wash, and then I'll talk about the structure of the car wash so we can start analyzing in a way how we can add value.
Okay, so I have one of those passes, and you know, we're realtors, so we get our car dirty a lot. So $12 a month is pretty cheap. So what I do is I find, I'll be driving down Main Street and I will see that a lot of people are out there. It's a good day and they're out there vacuuming their cars. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go wash my car, and I feel like talking to people. So, you know, early morning, I see them out there. Lunch is a good time, afternoon. And then I get through the car wash and I find a vehicle that I identify with. I'm a Ford girl, even though I'm driving an Acura. And I look for someone that is about probably my age. I don't do the younger folks. And I'll pull beside this guy, and it'll be a really nice Ford. And I'll start conversation with him. And before you know it, I'll say, he goes, haven't I seen you in here before? Yeah, I'm a realtor. And so I'm in here a lot. And then one thing leads to another. So, and I'm successful when I hand him my card.
Fantastic. And so can you tell me about when you share with someone that you're a realtor? They ask you, oh, haven't I seen you? Do you ever get nervous when you say, I'm a realtor?
Never. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and so it's really important to be proud while you're freestyling, while you're talking to strangers and saying, hey, I'm a realtor, right? This is your business. You own it. Take it seriously. And especially for the majority of all of us who really love this business, we're going to do well in it if we're not already doing well. So really take pride in the fact that you're a realtor. And if somebody says, I've seen you around, yeah, that's right, I'm a realtor, blah, 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 I do business, or I love going to this place, it's so close to my office. Oh, what's your office? Oh, it's Coldwell Banker, right? So it's really about prompting people to give you the responses that you're looking for in the first place while making them feel comfortable.
And everybody in this economy, or in the last 21 years, even when I worked through the recession, everybody wants to know a realtor. Everybody wants to talk about real estate. Everywhere you go, they're talking about it. So you need to do it.
Yeah. And so we'll get into the talking about real estate thing, because Janie has a really interesting way of noticing that people talk about real estate. But I wanted to talk about the car wash and the grocery store now that we're pairing these two and talking about organizations. So coming into the car wash, a lot of the times Janie has been focusing on, okay, the clients, the people vacuuming the car, the people doing this, the people doing that, right? But what Janie hasn't necessarily done, and what we pointed out yesterday, was Does Janie interact with the car wash guy that's telling her to come in into the car wash and then stop in the specific spot? Did you interact with him pretty much every time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys joke around, you mess around. So the next thing that I have recommended to Janie to do is to start a conversation with the staff at the car wash, because the stronger the relationship you have with the staff at the car wash, the more opportunities you have to present them, I'm a realtor. Are you looking to buy or sell a home? And guess what? The car wash staff live somewhere or they're renting somewhere, so they need to move. They have a family to feed a lot of the times. So it's not a bad thing to build that relationship with the car wash staff. It's not a bad thing to build a relationship with the staff at the grocery store, because everybody needs to live somewhere. Everyone goes home to a bed and they need a roof. So it's really about utilizing and understanding what the grocery store and what the car wash does. Now, to tie into the organization, understanding and taking advantage of your time, as far as going to the grocery store 4 or 5 times a week, going to the car wash twice a week, 3 times a week. Let's talk about how we foster these relationships, and we'll go into the next option, which was the restaurant. But fostering the relationships, as far as understanding, okay, when you build your relationship with the grocery store manager, or you build your relationship with the car wash manager, don't be afraid to ask the question, hey, what is the busiest day of the week for you? What is the busiest time of the week for you? What is the lightest day of the week for you? What is the lightest time of the day for you? I'm a realtor, and you know this since we've become friends over the last couple of months, or the last couple of weeks or whatnot, however long it is. I'm a realtor, and what I really want to do is be able to meet as many people as possible while doing this activity. Could you help me out and figure out when is the day that I could possibly meet the most people in the produce aisle? And if you have a really observant manager, they're going to say, oh my gosh, on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock, for some reason, I get 45 people in the produce aisle. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. There's no other day where there are 45 people in the produce aisle. And they are willing to impart that wisdom for free, especially if you're their friend, especially if you are someone who they trust, especially if you're someone that makes them laugh. So this is a really good opportunity for you to take advantage of. And the next topic that I asked her to fill out was the restaurant that she shared with me. So can you tell me about the restaurant, how you go to restaurants, and knowing how people talk about real estate at those restaurants? This is something really interesting that Janie shared with me yesterday.
Well, when I go to a restaurant with my husband, I never go by myself, but I always go with my husband. And it's usually kind of busy in there. I always feel that if they're talking loud enough that I can hear their conversation and it's about real estate, I can interrupt and give them a card. And that was something I learned first couple years that I was in real estate, and Chris Anderson was my broker. But if you go to a restaurant and you just listen, everybody's talking about real estate. So if they're talking loud enough for you to hear, then why can't you interrupt? And I've never had anyone be mean with me, and I've actually gotten a couple buyers out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the years.
Exactly. And this is totally doable for all of us. And it's so funny because when Janie shared with me that everybody at the restaurant talks about real estate, my initial reaction when she shared this with me yesterday was, what are you talking about? Come on, you're full of it. And as she kept talking, I remembered the restaurant that I went to over the weekend with friends. And there was 3 occasions at our dinner that we talked about real estate. 3 occasions. And I'm willing to bet if Janie Larson was sitting at the table next to me, she'd interject and say, oh, I'm a realtor. Yeah. Right? And start a relationship. So that's number 1. Number 2 that I wanted to bring out as far as pointing out things is I really invite all of you to reflect on how you go to a restaurant, whether you're going by yourself, whether you're going with a friend, whether you're going with a business partner, whether you're going with your significant other, or whether you're going with family. And knowing when is the right time to take advantage of this. So one of the great things that I asked Janie to do was focus and think about, okay, what is it like when you go to a restaurant with your husband?
Well, he always understands and knows what I'm going to do, so he's cool with it.
So he's cool with it. That's number one, right?
Always cool with
Communication.
it.
If you're going to go with a significant other, right, and you're a realtor, make that conversation happen, right? Talk about, is this the day that we're just going to focus on each other, or is this the day where we're going to enjoy ourselves, be a little more casual, and then also if someone's talking about real estate, we hear it, that you allow me to enter that conversation very respectfully. And if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, right? But it's all about that communication as far as your significant other, your family. They already know what you're up to, okay? That's number one.
I'm freestyling.
Communication is key, right? Now,
Yeah.
let's say you're going to dinner with a friend, or you're going to dinner with another realtor, or you're going to dinner by yourself, right? Don't be afraid to take advantage of this opportunity. And what I'm getting at with this is positioning. So I'm all about positioning in the real estate industry. I think positioning is the fastest way to success, right? We talk about positioning as far as marketing, global luxury marketing, or first-time home buyer marketing, or we talk about retirement, moving and downsizing into your retirement home. We talk about all these types of different types of marketing. What I hear and what I don't necessarily see is we don't talk about positioning yourself in real estate as far as who are the people that you're going to interact with. And with this restaurant in mind, physically, I think it's really important to position yourself around as many people as possible. So if you know you're going to be doing this activity, you're going to be hanging out with your significant other or your friend or whatever, and they know what you're up to, position yourself at a table in the restaurant where there are going to be 5-6 tables around you, so you can listen to the conversations and take advantage, like Janie has done, and say, oh, I heard you talking about a single family home. I happen to have a house coming on the market. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's right here in Longmont, or it's over here, it's over there, it's over here, blah, 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 right? And you're not only able to market yourself for free while having dinner, you're also able to potentially build a new relationship and get another client. So this is a great way for you to take advantage. Now, obviously, if you're going to go to a restaurant and you don't want to do this, this is where building the relationship with the manager comes into play. So I shared with Janie one of the techniques that I used to use when I was back in Florida, and I still do this. I just do it for fun now. I build a relationship with the general manager of the restaurant. I do this for 2 reasons. If I am going to go on a date, I want to be able to get the best table, period. I want the best table in the restaurant, and the fastest way for me to get the best table in the restaurant is for me to have a friendship with the general manager. I do this with a couple of different ways, and you guys can do this in a way that feels comfortable for you. I call the restaurant all the time, and I ask for the general manager, and I just call to say, hey, how's it going? What's up? How are you doing? How are you feeling today? How's the family? How's this? What have you been up to? What was your weekend like? Just building that relationship before I even ask him about the reservation. And I do that not only to foster the relationship, I do that so when I come into the restaurant, the manager is excited to see me. And that is everything you need when you are treating a guest to dinner, or you're treating a date to dinner, or you're treating your husband or your wife to dinner, or you're treating a client to dinner. If you walk into a restaurant and you're positioning yourself in an effective way with not just the table, but also with the staff, it speaks worlds for your business. So this is a really important thing. Now, as far as the positioning physically, building this relationship with the manager, this gets you at the table that you want. Over time, building the relationship with the manager means if you schedule a reservation at the restaurant of your choice, you can ask for that specific table, and because the manager knows you, they're going to say, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt, that's your table, blah, 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 right? That's the one you want, that's the one you get. And this is as simple as giving them a call, saying hi, how are they doing? In my case, I like to give the manager a bottle of wine every now and then, right? Love to do that. It costs me, what, 10, 15 bucks, and it's a bottle of wine. The manager, guess what? Restaurant staff never get gifts from the patrons. Real estate agents, do you guys ever get gifts from your patrons?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Flowers, they send me flowers sometimes.
Right? So it doesn't go unnoticed when you do these things. And you can do this in your personal life, and you can do this as a realtor, and this will benefit you greatly. And on top of that, guess what? The manager now knows that you're a realtor, and you are top of mind in the manager's head. And you are top of mind in the manager's head if they hear the staff saying, oh, I'm looking for a house. I want to buy my first house, or I want to buy my second house. Okay, so these are great opportunities for you. Janie.
It's Chris. I have lost you and Janie as my picture. Is anybody else? I do not. I just see you.
You just see. How about now?
No.
I'm seeing both of them.
Are you? Okay.
I'm going to exit the spotlight and then spotlight again, and we'll see how this works. Can everybody see me?
I see you guys fine. Everything.
Okay. I guess it's just me. No,
Okay.
then. Okay.
All right, Janie, next topic. Let's talk about banks.
Oh, banks are really fun. I used to hate to stand in the lines, and now I make sure there's a line before I go, and I talk to people while they're in the line. And then it got to be that I did it so much that I had to wait for a banker, and so we all sat in the middle of the room, and when I walked out there, one of the guys said, "You're a realtor, aren't you?" And I just looked at him. I go, "What makes you think that?" He goes, "You just look so put together." And I said, "Yeah." So we sat there for 20 minutes and we talked about real estate in front of 3 other people. You know, now the bankers, when they see me coming, they try to get me out of line as quick as possible. Because why would you use a bank to get a mortgage on your house? That's not what their expertise is, and that's always what my line is. And so, you know, that's how I do that.
Nice, nice. And so we're seeing a trend here.
Lines.
Lines. We're seeing lines. We're seeing
patient and waiting.
Being vocal, right? Not being afraid to be vocal about what you do and about making friends with people who you don't know. This is the common trend. And can you tell me a little bit about how you kind of got into this as far as building the confidence to go out and do this?
I just did it. It's just who I am. I do everything we're supposed to do all day. I've talked to everybody, and then I go out. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I just go out and I do what I need to do for my household and for me. And I like to be on the same level as the people. And they're out there mowing their yards and they got dogs and doing their thing. Then I feel it's easier than knocking on doors because they've got to answer the door and there's some kind of salesman there. So if they're in their yard already or they're in a line somewhere doing what I need to do anyway, I feel it's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and knowing that it's okay whether you build the relationship or it fizzles as just a base conversation is all you need to go out and go spot and go freestyle. It's really all you need, because we do this subconsciously on a daily basis just with meeting random people. As a person, not even as a professional, as a person, we do this subconsciously. So when putting yourself in the mindset of, I'm a realtor, I'm going to go out and do this business, and then you get out there, you get nervous, oh, should I really be doing this? I'm not sure. Remind yourself what the intent is. You're doing this for you. You're doing this for your family. You're doing this for
my dogs. For
your dogs. You're doing this for the betterment of the people that are coming into contact with you. So now you have a higher purpose, but beyond, I'm getting the business.
Well, they have something in common with me. When I meet them at Murdoch's and we're in the dog food aisle,
yeah.
I always say, what kind of dog you got? And then the German Shepherds come up. And then real estate just comes in. They're on the same level as I am if we're doing the same activity, whether it's washing your car, getting your groceries, getting your dog food. We're on the same level. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's better than door knocking and calling on the phone. I hate calling on the phone because people can hang up on you. But if they're in their yard, they can't run from you.
Yeah. Now, this is really fun. Yes, Daniel.
I wanted to ask you, Janie, what I'm hearing you saying is that it's really finding what's about them, right? I mean,
Well,
in the end, you
thinking-
put yourself in a common space, right?
Mhm.
But when you start conversation, it doesn't necessarily start with, hey, I'm a realtor, how can I help you? It starts with what you have in common in the moment, right? What you have in common in the moment, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a great question that you asked that, Denia, because this is one of the ways that Janie and I connected very quickly. And it was finding what each other had in common. And for me specifically, Janie mentioned very early on that she did this as an activity. And I resonated very much with it because my definition of freestyling was different. I called it the Ford system. For a long time, I had been advertising the Ford system. I know some of you may have heard it before, right? And Ford is an acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and development, right? And I use that to be able to connect with people very quickly. And it's asking them things that have nothing to do with me and more to do with them. And this is what Janie does subconsciously. This is what Janie does on a daily basis. And this is how she's been able to freestyle so effectively.
It's fun. It really is fun. When I was out and about Sunday, and I decided it was a really good day, and I just decided that, I had 100 extra ones of these, and I thought, well, I'm just going to edge my bet, and that's what I call it. And so I drove around subdivisions that were in where I live, and I see somebody outside and they have dogs. I come up with an envelope and they look at me suspiciously, and I say, I'm not a salesman, I'm a realtor, don't shoot. So I put a little comic in there because everybody appreciates a little bit of a laugh. That's what I do.
Yeah, and so this is actually on one of the topics that she brought up, the driving through the neighborhoods. Janie, can you tell me about not just the newsletters that you just did for this weekend, but what you do normally, driving around neighborhoods, trying to find business? What do you do?
Okay, so when I'm driving through neighborhoods, I'm looking for those storage bins. And if they're not outside, I will knock. And I will say, hey, I'm a realtor, and I'm looking for properties for my buyer. And, as you know, we've got a shortage of listings out there. I said, I saw that in your driveway. Are you buying or selling? Are you selling? And sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes they'll just be remodeling. So that's what I do. And then something else that I do is I make apple pies for my listings. And there is some subdivisions in North Longmont with the biggest apple trees I have ever seen. And most years my apple tree hasn't been giving me my apples. So I go over there and I check out the ones that are producing apples, and I usually get the conversation going. And I do get out of there with some buckets of apples, but I actually got a couple listings over there in the last couple of years. But that's what I do.
Yeah. Do you ever feel nervous when you're approaching people on their property?
Nope.
How do you get over that?
I'm cute. My hair is high.
Yeah. So confidence.
Because I'm there with a mission, and my mission is apples. Or, oh my God, this weekend when I was doing this, I saw a blue German Shepherd. I about died. I have never seen a blue German Shepherd. I have a black one, a black and tan, but blue ones are very rare. And so that's what the conversation, sometimes if it's the German Shepherd I see, I have to pet it. And no, I'm not afraid.
So confidence, right? Confidence is key. Being comfortable in your own skin to go out there and say, this is me, right? We all have our thoughts about who we think we are or how people may perceive us. And it's really important to burst through that and say, I am me. I'm Janie. I'm Juan. I'm Denia. I'm Marie. I'm Carla. I'm Susan. I'm Christine, right? To be comfortable in your own skin so that way you are as accessible as possible to the people you're reaching out to.
I was at a lamb farm this weekend. I love sheep and peat, and I stumbled upon a farm, and it was a little lamb farm. And now I know where to get sheep and peat for free and meat if I want it. and I got to play with them. So you just come down to their level. And, you know, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But, you know, I got to have fun, and it's my entertainment. And sometimes I get a paycheck out of it, or I've made a new friend or new neighbor, and that's me.
Yeah, and I think we forget a lot of the times that connecting with individuals is not just about the business. It's about so much more than that. And if you're going out and you're freestyling and you meet your next best friend, then that day was worth it. If you go out and you're freestyling and you make your next big sale, it was worth it. If you go out and you're freestyling and you meet the next jerk, you know that there's one more jerk out there. That's okay. It's whatever it is, right? But it's about consistently going out and doing this activity because it will benefit your life greatly. Chris, you've got a question.
No, I just need to interject my Janie story here, and that is one of the things Janie said today that is so true, and that's that she does this when she feels like talking to people. This is not an activity you do when you're not feeling like you're ready to go out and be part of the world. She'll pop in the office and she'll just say, it's freestyling day, I'm headed out, and she's got a big smile on her face and she's ready to go. In our world where people were indeed pulling brochures out of our brochure boxes on our signs, Janie was wandering around one time and just looking, seeing what's out there. And there were some people stopped in front of a house and they were pulling a brochure out of the box. She penned their car in so that they could not move. And she walked up to them and said, you're doing it the hard way. I sell real estate and you're doing it the hard way. Let me help you. She always has a great way of approaching folks with some humor and with her passion about our world. And that I feel is the biggest thing here, is that she is passionate about what she does. And she knows that it's not just about the open houses. It's not just about her sphere. It's about going out and telling the world about real estate.
Yeah, and now for those of you who are saying, well, you know, I've got listings, freestyling, it's tough because I don't have so much time. I have to focus on the listing. I have an idea for you. What Janie did with getting out to the listing and finding somebody pulling out a brochure from their listing sign, you could do that with your very own listing if you so choose to do the freestyling technique. What I'm getting at is, why don't you be the person who pulls up and says, oh, hey, I see you're doing the brochure thing. What do you guys think about this house, right? This is a good looking house. And just talking about the house. Just talking about the house, how's their day going, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, we're so interested in the house, blah, blah, blah. We might want to come and see it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I happen to be the listing agent for the house. I mean, what's the harm in making yourself readily available in front of the house that you're trying to sell? Not only does it market you as an agent to those potential buyers, it also markets you in front of your seller because they know you're out doing that from time to time. This is a great way for you to take advantage of two birds with one stone, right? Really utilizing your time effectively. Now, the next thing I wanted to ask Janie about is the gym. Janie goes to the gym.
My favorite place.
Janie's got a trainer. So tell me about the gym.
Well, I've been going there for 16 years. I didn't go during the pandemic, but I have a trainer. He's the badassest trainer in the whole gym. And we are best friends. And I would say every year I pull $30,000 to $50,000 out of the gym. It's a camaraderie that goes on up there. And whenever he's training me, we always do our warm up in one section. And he'll be like, you got to do 5 of these. And I'll be like, no, I did 5. And then he'll say something. I mean, I'm always smart ass talking to him back. And so as the people are walking around the track, because I'm positioned right there where they have to walk past me, they're hearing this humorous conversation between this little blonde and this tall black man. And we're silly, we're fun. And then like one day he was just like, come on, pull your chest up. I'm like, hey, I'm 60, this is it. You know, just stuff like that, you know. And so then when it's my time to be away from him and on the rowing machine, which I'm up to 40 minutes now, as the other people are walking around the track, when they're getting done, they'll stop and talk to me on the rowing machine. This has been going on for years. And it gets me through the rest of those minutes on the rowing machine, and then usually a card. And I have got probably 5 steady customers out of that gym that they will only ever deal with me or let their children deal with me, ta-da-da-da-da-da. And this has been going on for years, so.
Yeah, and to tie on to that, this is also one of the things where I offered Janie to take advantage of the opportunity of knowing your organization. For the gym, Janie's been going to the gym for a really long time. So I suggested, hey, keep fostering and building up that relationship, not just with your trainer, but also with the boss of the gym. So that way they know that Janie is the realtor at the gym. There's a lot of realtors at the gym, but Janie is the realtor. And so any of the staff members looking to buy or sell a home are already thinking about Janie. And they're going to reach out to Janie.
It's like Cheers. They all know my name.
Exactly. And so
it's home to me.
Yeah. And so
here comes Janie, here comes trouble is what they say sometimes.
Exactly. And you know, this is another way to knock out the 2 birds with 1 stone tactic, right? Oh, I've got so much time. I'm a realtor, blah, blah, blah. I can't do this. I have all these appointments and this and that. Make time every day.
6 o'clock in the morning.
For your health, right? This is super important, and you can take advantage of making time for your health by building out your relationships at the gym so you can get more business, the $30,000 to $50,000 a year in excess business for Janie, right? I mean, this is totally possible, and you feel better. All for it. It's pretty great, pretty useful. Here's another one that Janie wrote down, and this brings up a really important topic. Now, we go out with Freestyle. More than likely, we're going to meet another realtor. Because it's just, it's the way the universe works. There's another, oh, I'm a realtor. Oh, so am I, right? And this happens. These things happen, right? So this happened to you when you were freestyling in a neighborhood.
2 of them.
And where else did this happen?
Well, it's happened in the gym before, too.
It's happened in the gym. Has it happened at the nail salon?
Oh yeah, and the nail salon. That's one of my favorite places too.
Yeah. So the nail salon and the what do you call it? The hair salon.
Yeah, the hair salon.
The nail bar, the hair salon. You're more than likely going to meet a realtor because the reality is this is a woman's business. It's a good thing that you're going to meet another realtor. Let's talk about a couple of things that are going to benefit you by meeting another realtor.
I tell them they might look good in blue.
Yes, you can refer them. You can refer them and then get some checks because of their business. This is a great skill for you to have. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, you're not only meeting a realtor, you're meeting another source for properties that are not yet on the market. This is one of the things that we do here at the Longmont office. As many of you already know, we have the weekly sales meetings where there has probably been more than one occasion where the realtors do business with each other with listings that haven't even come onto market. Is it possible to do this with a realtor that you meet out and about that doesn't happen to be with Coldwell Banker? I'd say so. It's more than possible to do this. You can be talking to another realtor at the hair salon or at the hair bar. Oh, you know, I have this house, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to say, oh, well, I have a buyer for it. Or, oh, I have a person that your buyer might be interested in taking a look at this house.
I have one more thing that I do. Yeah. When I meet these realtors, they, you know, sometimes they're from Fort Collins and they've got a listing up here and we do the same nail place. I'll be like, how's it going? And they'll be like, yeah, we haven't got it under contract yet. I'll be like, hey, why don't you let me do an open house for you?
Yeah.
And I do open houses for realtors that aren't with our company with permission from my broker, Chris.
Yeah, and it's all about getting permission, right? You got to communicate, get permission from your broker, get permission from their broker, from them, obviously. And you can build your business that way while also helping another realtor. So now you're in their wheelhouse of people that they trust. So it's not only beneficial for your business, it's beneficial for their business, AKA their life, which is what you're doing for other people's life by freestyling. Another one that Janie wrote down here was garage sales.
I love garage sales. The day before the garage sale, I order about 12 dozen donuts from Walmart's or Safeway, and they're usually like $3 for a dozen. And then I drive around to the garage sales very early as they're setting up, and I give them a box of sugar and my card, and I talk to them, and it's been pretty good.
Yeah, so this is super useful, and Janie's really utilizing the things that she likes to do, right? This is the common theme here, right? Janie picks a day that she wants to do it. She makes sure that she's vocal. She is not afraid to talk about her business, and she does the things that she likes to do, just utilizes them to her advantage, right? You can do this for every single part of your life and find business. So for those of you that are curious, I'm going to resend the document that I sent a couple months ago when I first started, which was the fear building worksheet that I actually got from one of the other success coaches in our team. And this fear building worksheet is going to help you in taking a look at where are the opportunities in your life where you can seize more business, where you can build more relationships. So I highly recommend that you take a look at that worksheet. And before we get into questions, if any of you have any questions, before we get into them, I'm going to impart one of Janie's favorite phrases, which is, if you participate in your life, you will be successful. It's all about participating and showing up for your life. And this is the way that you're able to build your business. So, any questions? Yes, Dania.
I got one. So here's a fear, right? Because it happens to me in my similar experiences. What happens when you get the guy who treats you rudely, right? What happens when you get the response that's not positive, right? You approach someone, and it's happened. You approach someone and they don't want to talk to you at all, and sometimes they're not nice about it. How do you deal with that in your own head and heart?
You got to get 99 no's before you get a yes. So you count it as a no and you walk away.
Yeah. And so it's a numbers game, right? Real estate in every capacity is a numbers game. And being able to take advantage of knowing that it's a numbers game is going to help you with your confidence, right? The inner confidence of going out and reaching out to people and knowing that you're going to get a no, right?
That includes speeding tickets. That's a no too.
Yeah.
Whatever the no may be that day.
Got to get pulled over 99 times before you get no speeding ticket.
I think sometimes when I'm doing a version of what you're doing, and I get I get some negativity back, I allow myself the opportunity just to punch out.
No,
go on home.
Out.
Yeah.
I had a guy yesterday, Sunday. I want to tell you what he did. It's a big old $1 million property. Those make me a little nervous sometimes. But I walked up to him and he was kind of like looking at me funny, and I'm like, okay, it's going to go one way or the other. So I walked on up to him and I said, I'm not a salesman. I said, what did I say? I'm not a salesman. Don't shoot. I'm a realtor. So I started talking to him, and I thought, well, I better not go straight into the realtor thing. I went into these dogs that I really am trying to get to rehome. And then really didn't have a lot of interaction with him talking to me about real estate. So then I said, well, here's my brochure. I said, but if you're going to throw it away, I'll go ahead and keep it. And he goes, no, I would like your brochure. I just woke up. So that probably was a no, but I gave him the option and let him know that if you're going to throw it away, but you can't shut down. You just can't.
Yeah. And to add to what she's just shared, I think it's really important to know that people are going to be on the same wavelength every day that you're doing this activity, right? And in this case, this gentleman had just woken up.
He was putting his shoes on in the driveway.
I'm the type of person that when I wake up, I'm ready to go. I'm like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Not everybody's like that, and I know that. And being cognizant of the time that you do things, and also what's the activity, right? There's going to be a likelihood that someone is grumpy, and that's okay. And being relentlessly pleasant is my phrase that I got from my mother. Being relentlessly pleasant will keep you in their wheelhouse, whether it's a yes or a no.
Wear your best clothes, get your hair as high as it can go, and
Yeah.
put a smile on your face.
And your best clothes is really just subjective. What do you like to wear, right? What makes you feel good?
What's comfortable?
Yeah, you don't have to wear the heels or you don't have to wear the suit. You just wear what makes you feel good. If that happens to be a suit or heels, whatever, right? But really go out, put your best foot forward when you're doing these activities because it's going to make you feel that much better for doing them. And you're going to realize that just doing it is what's going to bring you more business. Just doing it is what's going to help you learn about how interacting with people is so important in this business, even more than you already do know. Yeah. So if anybody has any other questions, we're happy to answer them. If you don't, then I think we're done. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we wanted to say thank you very much for attending, everybody. We really appreciate the feedback. We really appreciate you being here and sharing this time with us. I know that Janie was so excited to be able to share what she does for her business, and to be able to, give everyone some nuggets of wisdom that you may or may not have thought of in the past. So if you're really interested in doing some more work like this or finding some opportunities for your business, highly recommend. Reach out to Janie. I mean, she's a wonderful agent. You can give her a call. And if Janie's not busy, if Janie's not busy, she's more than happy to have a chat. And if you're curious about ways where you can utilize these techniques in your personal business and you really wanted somebody to work with, give me a call. I'm here for you 100%. And I'm free to you because you pay for me with your dues. It's pretty great. So, yeah.
I feel like when I do this and I pull a client in, and I do it quite often, especially in the summertime, it just really empowers me. It's like, yeah, I'm a rock star.
Yeah.
Look what I did. So, all right, Marie, I see that big ass smile. No, it's not on the script. It's not on the grid. And I really like to encourage new agents, because when I was a new agent, I was a single mom. I had to do the open houses. I like the open houses, but I always have a plan of attack of what I'm going to do. So, yeah, just want to help y'all if you want help.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We're going to have a cup of coffee, maybe go get a pastry. And we're looking forward to the next one.
Right on.
Super.
So,
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone.
bye.
Nice, thanks, guys.